Younger people of Reddit, what are things a middle-aged person should know that perhaps they don't? When I'm looking at my phone and smiling, I don't have a boyfriend. I'm looking at memes. You're looking at your boyfriend's memes, aren't you? Asterisk, asterisk, pinched cheeks, asterisk, asterisk. Dang it, how did you know? As a girl, I hate it when adults say when you have kids, or when you get a husband, like it's an inevitability and that's my only path in life. No, you can't pause a multiplayer's video game. If you have kids and have issues, go to therapy for yourself before they have to after being raised by you. If I laugh at something on my phone, there is a 90% chance that you would not understand it. Therefore, if you ask to see what they are looking at, expect to not always find it funny yourself. Especially as teen humor currently has no real basis and is just an endless pit of obscure references merged into one. It's funny because it's referencing this other abstract unfunny image. We were raised on Monty Python and grew up with The Simpsons, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and the Venture Bros. I think you underestimate our ability to process humor. No, I don't have a girlfriend. And that's not going to change during lockdown. Stop trying to make me confess. Your parents want you to confess for what? Not having a girlfriend. This seems extremely odd to me. People can't get a haircut and they expect you to be perfecting the dating game? My parents and brother tease me about this because I have an online friend who is female and we want to meet in person sometime. There are different stages of childhood. You can't give the same restrictions to a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old than a 15-year-old. Being a bad parent equals being a middle-aged person. It's okay to change your viewpoints on things when presented with new information. At least in my experience. Many middle-aged people kinda dig their heels in and are loyal to a brand, person, belief no matter what evidence they're shown. It's okay to change your mind on stuff. It doesn't make you weak or show you aren't loyal. A great roast of GWB was, here is a man who believes on Thursday what he believed on Tuesday regardless of what happened on Wed. Quote, that mental illness is real. Believe me, middle-aged people know that mental illness is real, and they are as afraid of it as every other aged person. If you are a parent, we want you to listen to us. Just listen. No need of advices. Listen and agree with us that our situation sucks. A hug would also help. What age did you think your situation started to suck? I've got 2 smaller kids now and they tend to need a lot of advice or they chop their fingers off while cutting an apple. When did you start to cross the threshold into not needing instruction as much as needing someone to listen? Mostly it's teenage years. When they turn into teens, they feel like they can do things by themselves, so advice is usually backfire as belittling their capabilities. If you listen closely, it's easy to know if they want your advice or just a person to talk to. But never ever say, it's your fault for getting into the situation in the first place. Even if it actually is. Point that out later, when they're ready to listen. If you think you're right because you're an adult, you're a close-minded dickwad. Structure in an argument. God. Sometimes we get bored of having to explain to you that we know better. Because we just do. I'll say what I say to my kids, everything I tell you not to do is usually because I did and it was fucking stupid. When I give you my phone to look at a single pic, don't start scrolling, it's private. Pro tip. Slightly zoom in before handing someone a phone to look at a pic. That way swiping to the side won't view the next pic. Don't forget your Apple ID password. Just because we spend a lot of time on technology doesn't mean we're dumb stupid idiots who can't understand anything besides free Wi-Fi. Boomers are just jealous because they don't understand technology and they're afraid the world is leaving them behind. I don't need your opinion, I need your support. What if you're being unkind? Then I have no clue whatsoever. I'm 17, but when I was younger, middle-aged people would tell you that you were too young to do something. For example, I'm Japanese but my aunt and uncle live in Detroit. In Japan it's common for kids to ride the subway to school alone. But whenever I visited them, I didn't understand why I could go on the metro alone because everyone told me I couldn't, and when I could try to explain in my horrible, childish English, they would just brush it off like it was nothing. I was around 7 to 8 at the time. Edit. I apologize for my horrible English. I'm still not perfect. Your English is phenomenal. I think it was more for safety reasons than your ability to carry out the task. Because Japan was considerably safer for a Japanese kid to take the subway than Detroit was. They probably didn't want to scare the shit out of you, so they just said you were too young. Your English is better than the President of the United States, so you've got that going for you. Which is nice. That some younger people are terrified of aging. Aging is awesome. People don't treat me like dirt anymore. I can go anywhere, do anything I want. I know what the fuck I'm talking about, and I only have to take exams if I've signed up for training. Yeah, but your body doesn't work right and you can't trust farts. Yo, this. Been terrified of my own mortality since I was 7. Out of all the people I know, I can say confidently that a good 90% suffer from a mental illness. I would like for middle-aged people, and especially parents, to realize that there is a serious problem with younger people, and that most of the times it begins from their pressuring, either conscious or subconscious. Stop it with, "You finally decided to join us, why are you so quiet?" Mostly from older people, but still. How to FUCKING. Create a new FUCKING tab on the FUCKING Google Chrome. Instead of completely closing the FUCKING program and ruining my entire FUCKING Reddit scrolling progress. Sorry for being mad. It's just that I have deep personal experience with old people with that kind of problem. Specifically my parents. What exactly qualifies as old? Asking for a friend. I would guess 40 plus or 50 plus. No, I am not gay, I'm just unattractive. Some people don't want to work, and that's okay. I'm 20 years old, I'm in college, and my major makes it incredibly difficult to find a job. But I truly don't mind. I want to get married and have a family and be a stay-at-home mom. Monsieur, working should not determine my worth. That's an interesting one. My wife's dad split from her mom when my wife's mom was mid-40s. Had no career, no ability to generate income. Her husband was a real boss who took zero responsibility and provided no money. Really burned into my wife's head that she always needs to be employable. Even as a SOM, she did part-time stuff after approximately 6 months so she could minimize holes in her resume. For her it wasn't about self-worth. Seems more like how someone who watched their house burn down might be super into fire extinguishers. I'm a Gen Xer. Happily married for over 20 years. And a stay-at-home mom. Monsieur, I absolutely love it. And it works well for our family. Fortunately, my husband has a great career and we live in a reasonably low cost of living area of the US. If you're financially able to, and you and your future spouse agree, I'd highly encourage you to be a SOM if that's what you truly desire. It's not always affordable, unfortunately, and you'll want to do some pre-planning to minimize your debts before your kids are born. But it's a rewarding lifestyle if your heart is in it. Earning an income, in and of itself, does not determine your worth. That's all well and good and I'm happy for you. But it can all go to south very quickly if the marriage breaks up. Happened to my sister. Fortunately, she was able to land on her feet, but she has some tough times working not great jobs. Because she'd stayed home for 15 years and had no real marketable skills. Wish I could do that as a guy, but it seems like women aren't interested in men who on a first date say, "I don't really feel like working. I'd rather just get married to you and look after the kid whilst you make money for me and the family." Women don't seem to be interested in being the sole provider for men as much as men do for women. You're dating the wrong women. Well-paid professionals who love their work often would love to find a side Control-Shift+ rotates a PDF clockwise, and Control-Shift rotates it counterclockwise. They should know that it was their generation that advanced technology and video games. Don't assume that because you raised me Christian, I'll end up Christian. Don't try to force kids into a religion. Let them choose their own path. Stop bringing up things from when I was little, especially in public spaces, around people who aren't in our immediate family. You might think it's funny, or cute, but to an insecure teenage guy it just makes me feel weirder than I already do. It's also not very funny to joke about doing embarrassing things to us in front of friends, girls. Even if you have no intention of actually doing it, don't dab. This goes for old and young. Hashtag especially *** in movies ***. This goes for everybody. Just don't do it. It's stupid. Treat young people with respect. Don't imitate or mock them. And we'll respect you too. By not imitating or mocking you, it's okay to say you were wrong. As a middle-aged person, I feel really good reading all these comments. The future has nothing to worry about. You guys are intuitive, smart, funny and scrappy. We're in good hands. You can't pause an online game. Everything we do isn't always cool and shouldn't be repeated. This is more young adult to parents. I came home to spend time with them because I thought I'd be working from home for a couple weeks. Max. 3 months later I'm expected to do a lot of chores around the house during my lunch break-in. Then make dinner. My parents work 8 to 10 hours days. I work 11 to 13 on most days. I constantly get told that I can do this because I'm still young. Monsieur. Oh God. Yes, and I worked 2 jobs and raised you and your sister and practically your dad when I was your age. What are you talking about your tired speeches? Yup, and you just sit at your computer all day. You can't be tired. Then when I ask them to try it they laugh it off. I can't do my mom's job, but I've ran my dad's business when he's gone on vacation. I'm not saying my job is harder. It just requires a lot more time. Sex education is not promoting sex, it's promoting safe sex. Also, religion shouldn't be forced. Just because I hear something bad in a certain YouTube channel doesn't mean every YouTube channel in that category are all bad. Mom. What are you watching on YouTube? Me. Animation. Mom. But I thought they were bad. Thinking she is onto me. Me. Facepalm. Insert first paragraph. I'm 11 by the way, and to ramp out this a little bit, lol. So what advice would you have for parents who want their kids to be able to use YouTube but what to? Provide some guidance. There's a lot of terrible stuff on there. Mainly I'm worried about things that will affect how they see themselves. It terrifies me that a bunch of YouTube celebrities putting likes greater than * are going to be influencing my kids. I feel that adults don't understand how YouTube works. YouTube collects data on what you like. So if you consistently watch a certain genre, let's say Minecraft Let's Plays, then they'll keep recommending Minecraft videos because they want you to stay on their site, watching their ads. If parents give a bit of guidance and supervision at first, it's unlikely that they'll have anything inappropriate pop up in their feed unless they start to seek it out, which is a whole different problem, monsieur. Based on my experiences with life as a teen in a difficult family. Treat us like humans, not as animals. We have our own bodies and minds and opinions too. Because I said so is not a valid reason for anything at all. My future is not yours to decide! ! Don't force your kids to cut their hair, please guys, help me convince mom. My mom wants to cut my hair. Don't mock your children if they're being serious. Don't assume their future. Educated guesses are allowed. Get your kid help if they need it and be kind to them. Monsieur. Last thing. Watch out with sarcasm, cynism with teens. The mix between that humor and an insecure person can go bad very easily. I wouldn't hate my parents if they didn't do all this shit. I'm not a fucking alien. I am a person that you need to and should care about how a smartphone computer works. Son, we invented that shit. If your experience is Windows 10 and iPhones, you have no idea what it was like to get stuff to work. Load *8.1. Deconflicting IRQs. Editing makefiles. Tech is so much easier than it used to be. I hear you loud and clear. To be fair, I've got a little more experience than that, but I recognize what you're saying. That doesn't mean I'm not right though. In fact, I'd argue it only supports my point, since everything actually got easier instead of harder. I do realize that growing up with that kind of tech is a huge advantage. But as that guy that can repair your PC, phone, device X, this can get really frustrating to me. Can you provide an example? Because I can grab a piece of modern tech that I've never touched before, have a pretty good chance of figuring out how it works regardless, because so many UI elements have become standardized over the years. And if something actually stumps me because it is malfunctioning, typing a brief description of the problem into Google provides a remedy 99% of the time. I'm 50. Sigh. And no piece of tech has defeated me in like 30 years, in no small part because I understand how it works under the hood. Because of formative years where tech was so primitive you had to grok the low-level stuff, because there was no high-level front-end to ease the user experience. I think the problem is that a lot of younger people are not sure of the difference between middle-aged and senior citizen. Exactly what you're saying. The understanding UI is something I feel most middle-aged people don't understand. I'm glad to hear that you still got it. It gives me hope for my own future. I'm not alone in feeling this though. The general consensus of how to solve a tech problem around here is to ask a younger person. Googling stuff is easy for a native English speaker, or someone like me who's very comfortable in English. But the generation before me isn't nearly as well versed. Finding tech support in another language is definitely doable, but you'll miss out on tons and tons of information and forums, which are almost exclusively in English. I'm from the Netherlands, by the way, so it's not as if I live in a country that isn't so used to high-tech equipment. From the Netherlands here too. My mom passed away a few years ago. She was in her mid-60s. She flat out refused to be intimidated by technology. She was by no means a wizard, but could work a Windows computer, an Android phone and her smart TV because she appreciated the benefits. She got her own broadband setup working too. From this you can deduce that I am pretty old myself. But my generation grew up with early home computers and were in our mid-20s when the internet became a thing. So technology to me, nearly 50, is still a thrill, still cool. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.